The Beat, I'm Ari Melber, and we begin with some breaking news tonight on what are signs clearly of the intersection between these hearings we've been covering and the actual criminal investigations and prosecutions. The DOJ dropping 2 new subpoenas today targeting a Trump elector in Georgia who may have committed fraud by trying to impersonate what was required in that state, which was only Biden electors. The other, a Trump campaign lawyer who worked in Arizona and New Mexico. And here's what that fraud meeting looked like in Georgia, where Republicans just got together and together sat in a room and claimed to represent the will of the voters. Whether this is elector fraud or massive voter fraud is something that is being investigated. Then you have the Georgia man who got today's subpoena, Brad Carver. There he was, so happy at the moment there, putting it on film, criming and telling on themselves. Of course, as I mentioned, we'll find out, according to prosecutors, whether this is a chargeable crime. The January 6th committee revealed Trump's lawyers, though, for starters, thought the whole thing looked illegal.
Did you hear the White House counsel's office say that this plan to have alternate electors meet and cast votes for Donald Trump in states that he had lost was not legally sound?
Yes, sir. It was Mr. Meadows, Mr. Giuliani, and a few of Mr. Giuliani's associates.
They knew it at the time. Then there's this secret footage we keep hearing about from a so-called Trump documentary with hours of interviews with Trump, his family, Mike Pence, all in that critical period leading up to the insurrection. Ivanka Trump, very supportive at the time of basically overthrowing the election, according to reporting. So she struck a different tone there than she did under oath in these recent hearings, which used her under oath video testimony. There's also a clue here in the weeks ahead, a filing that discusses, quote, the relationship between the Trump administration and the Proud Boys will be the subject of a future January 6th committee hearing. Again, 2 parts of the government, independent, but overlapping in their work, in their subpoena power, and in some of the evidence that's emerging, all of it driving an announcement today that the committee will be holding more hearings, plural, next month. That's the update. I want to keep it moving because we have on hand former RNC chair Michael Steele. Good to have you back, sir.
Hey, man, good to be with you.
Our rule of thumb is when there's a lot of news at the top, we run through it. If there's a little less, we run through it. So I'm done with that, although I have more coming up later in the hour on different topics. The biggest news, of course, came through yesterday, and that's still being absorbed. What do you see here in the fact that something which at times has been minimized, people smiling, taking photos, they were just doing what they could, this was just in case, quote unquote, versus what we're seeing the signal from prosecutors, this may have been a chargeable election crime?
Yeah, I think what you're sort of getting a taste of is the level of cockiness involved here, the level of, we can do this, that the criminality of it was not so much a concern because they figured, well, we just went through everything with, the hearings and the impeachment trials, and nothing came of that. There was no one held accountable anywhere in that. So there's a level of cockiness that builds up with within the mindset of these folks, and you see it played out. I know. There's conversation. Lawyers are sitting there saying, I don't know if you can do this, but everyone's like, hey, let's get it on film. And so I think from now going forward, which I'm really happy that Chairman Thompson has decided to extend the hearings on this to continue the investigation. My concern was that there was much more out there, Ari, and they're just going to get to June 30th and go, well, that's all we can do because, or they're saying, no, we're going to follow this evidence because apparently there's a lot of it. And when you start taking what we know with what is still coming in, that narrative, I think, is really pushing this thing to the point where the American people are saying there really is more here than we thought was possibly in front of us.
Right. And as you say, because you follow this stuff kind of, if you're any good at what you do, Michael, and we think you are, outside of all the jargon and the little details and what did they say in the new email newsletter about, D.C. subcommittee. No, we're talking about what's breaking through to the public about something of significance. Mr. John Eastman, not necessarily a household name to the level of, say, a Rudy Giuliani. But boy, does he look like he tried to out Giuliani. And that's a lawyer who lost his law license. Can't practice right now. That's how bad it is. Can't, literally not allowed to practice. It could be worse. Rolling Stone has a report with anonymous sources, and they say in the top ranks of Magalan, the attitude towards Eastman, they derisively call him Johnny. He might be going down. So be it. as long as he doesn't take anyone else down with him. And then Mr. Eastman appears to know that this is a real problem. Here's some of what we saw in the hearing about how he responded to even basic questions.
I assert my Fifth Amendment right against being compelled to be a witness against myself.
Is that statement in this memo true?
If.
What do you see as the import here for Mr. Eastman, who was, as I emphasize, after Barr left, after Giuliani drew a line, maybe in the dirt in the White House vegetable garden, but he drew a line somewhere. After all that, Mr. Eastman said, "I'll do it, boss. I got these plans." And that he's taking the Fifth now. We're learning and hearing a bit more about him. Your thoughts on all that?
He's going to need a Fifth after all of this. And he better make it a stiff one, because the reality of it is he's on the hook for a lot of stuff here. He's the guy that is the caretaker, the arbiter, the creator, the person who's going to push through the stuff that Giuliani and others are kind of crafting in their head as he's crafting it as well. I take note of the fact that they say, he's going to take the fall as long as he doesn't take anybody else with him, which means, okay, keep your mouth shut. And the question is how much of that he'll be able to do. I don't know what the upside is in keeping your mouth shut for Donald Trump. I assume for some people it is. Now, maybe there's some back-end arrangement. We don't know. But whatever is going to be happening with Eastman is going to be drama of a whole nother level. He is at the center of a lot of this and has been in many ways the architect of what's in Donald Trump's mind. And I think that that's an important feature for me as I look at this. Is Donald Trump is like, I know I won this election. Prove it. And Eastman was like, I think we have a few ways we can do that. And so you have this combination when people talk about mens rea and what Trump is thinking. Trump surrounds himself with people who execute on things that he says out loud without having to put it on paper, without having drawn out memos. That's why there's very little paper trail. But follow the actions of the people around him. Follow the steps they take, because that begins to lead you with the breadcrumbs back to what Donald Trump was thinking. These folks do not act nor execute without his sign-off. That's just the way his world works. So Eastman's not going to go out here and put all this in motion without doubling back with Trump, without talking back with Giuliani, and confirming that at least the three of them are on the same page.
Well, you make it so clear, Michael. It's like, you know how you cannot throw yourself a surprise party?
Yes.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
The one thing about a surprise party is that the subject, the star, the birthday person has to be surprised. You cannot throw yourself a surprise coup.
No.
If you're going to do it, you're instructing it. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, no matter how much you walk in the room after the fight and go, what, who, me? Everybody knows.
This military junta for me? Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Love that color balloon. Well, yes, because I picked it out. Right? And that's how Trump operates. And people fundamentally need to understand what's driving this train. And it's Trump. It's always been Trump.
Amen. And that's important because it goes to what Eastman is about. It's funny, but not funny ha-ha. It's funny authoritarian, which is not our favorite type of funny, Michael, but we'll do. I appreciate you kicking us off today.
Hey, man, always, brother. Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir. You too. Michael Steele coming to you live.